This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and today we're going to take a look at the Motorola DROID RAZR MAXX on Verizon Wireless. Basically, this is the Motorola DROID RAZR that we saw not too long ago on Verizon, but with a bigger battery, and it's a little bit thicker and heavier. The Motorola DROID RAZR MAXX is available now for $299 on contract on Verizon Wireless, and it's another one of their high-end LTE 4G Android smartphones. Now, I'll just cut to the chase here and tell you, this is really exactly the DROID RAZR, just with a higher capacity battery inside. It weighs about a ½ ounce more, a teeny bit more than a ½ ounce more. And while the DROID RAZR is 0.28 inches, this one is 0.35. So it's still very, very thin and a good looking phone. In fact, it's slightly more ergonomic being thicker, to be honest, because the DROID RAZR is like really skinny, but very wide over here, and has these interesting curves. It wasn't the easiest phone to hold on to. So this guy, a little bit easier to hold on to. It's got the same Kevlar back here, and this is your area for the camera with a nice shiny black strip. The hump's a little bit less pronounced here because this section is thicker. And on the side here we've got our power button, our volume controls. Nothing down here. And on this side, behind the door, we have the micro SIM slot and the micro SD card slot on that side. And it comes with the 16 gig card again, just like the Motorola DROID RAZR, and it has 16 gigs of internal storage as well, so you got plenty of storage on board. And up top here, we've got this neat kind of blunted edge. I think it looks cool. 3.5mm headphone jack. You've got your micro USB and your micro HDMI ports, and this guy also works with Motorola's lap dock accessory. It says a Super AMOLED QHD display, so not quite as high resolution as some of those new 720p phones on the market, but there's still plenty of pixels. That's 540 by 960 pixels. And it's really nice and colorful and sharp. I personally like it quite a lot, and I'm not bothered by the pentile matrix. It does disappear a little bit outdoors in really bright light, though. I mean, part that's a factor of the glossiness of the display, but also it just doesn't have quite the level of brightness to combat bright sunlight. Capacitive buttons down here. You got a microphone hole, your front camera here for video chat, and on the back, again, we have that 8 megapixel shooter. You can shoot 1080p video. It takes okay pictures. Motorola's cameras really aren't quite where they could be in terms of the competition from Samsung and even HTC. Again, just like the DROID RAZR, because we are really talking identical here, folks, other than the battery capacity and the change in casing to accommodate that. This runs on the same 1.2 gigahertz dual-core TI OMAP CPU with graphics acceleration. It has a gig of RAM, that's 16 gigs of internal storage, and the usual Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS. In terms of signal and voice quality, you can see we just barely have 4G here. That's just how it is in our area. And just like the RAZR and even the DROID Bionic before, we see some signal waffling between 3G and 4G as a result of the fact that we're in a marginal coverage area. But given the huge battery that's on this, boy, it doesn't have much of an effect. And actually, I find it slightly more intelligent. It just gives up and stays on 3G and is a little bit shy of getting on 4G if the coverage is weak, so it kind of saves a little battery by doing that. Voice quality on this, excellent for both incoming and outgoing. One of my favorites for making calls on Verizon Wireless. Voice quality is just really nice. While it might not have that 4G staying power to hold onto a 4G signal that the Qualcomm Snapdragon 1.5 gigahertz phones do, that means the resound and the LG Spectrum, it makes up for it with better voice quality. In terms of software, again, everything is the same as the RAZR here. You've got the same fairly clean look, a little bit of those squared off icons, but not what we would call moto blur anymore on here, not heavy with any of that kind of stuff. You get Office on here, you get Madden NFL 12, the usual Let's Golf 2, VZ Navigator, and the full suite of Google applications, mobile hotspots on here, the WebKit browser, Adobe Flash, you name it, and MotoPrint software is on here as well. Not surprisingly, the phone benchmarks identically to the DROID RAZR, which means about 2550 on Quadrant. That's a pretty good score. It's good. Not stunning, amazing like the fastest Snapdragon CPUs or the Samsung Exynos CPU, but that's pretty good performance. Linpack's quite good at 82 to 87 as well, so good performer. It does well in SunSpider JavaScript tests, around 2100 or so. So definitely a good performing phone. It runs Android OS 2.3.5 Gingerbread, just like the RAZR. And the phone will get an upgrade to Android OS 4.0 Ice Cream Sandwich. Data speeds on the phone are good. Typically Motorola does very good with speed tests, and of course it depends on the signal that you've got in your coverage area. In a good signal area, we managed about 16 megabit down and 9 megabit up, and in weaker signal areas we got about 8 megabit down and still about 8 megabit up, so pretty good stuff there. Now, because this phone really is the RAZR all over again, just with a bigger battery, we're not going to cover every single feature. You've probably already watched our Motorola Droid RAZR video review. If you haven't, go check it out. You're getting the same phone, let's put it that way, folks. The big change is that battery, and boy, it does make a difference. Now, the Droid RAZR had a pretty decent capacity, 1870 milliamp hour battery, and it's a good thing it did, because the battery is sealed inside, just like here. There's no popping this back off. It is sealed inside. So though 1870 is a pretty good capacity, Verizon with LTE usually means bad battery life, to be honest, and it made it to the end of the day. But if for those of you who use the phone heavily, it could be iffy, and then you have to carry around either, well, a charger or one of those external battery packs, which kind of does away with the whole point of having a slim compact phone, doesn't it? So for the extra $100, because this guy is $299 with contract and the Droid RAZR has now been dropped to $199, you get a 3300 milliamp battery built in. And really, that's amazing. I mean, 3300 milliamps is a lot. Usually when you get that kind of extended battery, you end up with a separate battery door. You get a very fat, large phone. This guy is almost as skinny as the original RAZR, which is a very skinny phone. And you do get just about 40% more runtime, since you get about that much more capacity. So this, even if you're a really heavy user and you're watching video, you've got email downloading, you push email, you're using the GPS and stuff like that, you should make it through easily through the day, even with the heaviest of use on a charge. It's really a killer battery. Now, for those of you who have more moderate use, it's really nice. You can actually make it through 2 days on a charge. So it's rather convenient, and again, given the sealed battery design, it's nice to have that built in, so you don't have to carry all the extra stuff with you. And Motorola really did an amazing job of getting that large a battery inside the phone. So do we like the Motorola Droid RAZR MAXX and Verizon? Yes, we do. I have to admit, looks do count, and though this may not be the most ergonomic phone because, well, it's relatively large and has slightly an odd shape, I think it's a gorgeous looking phone, and it's really durable with the Gorilla Glass on front, and you've got that Kevlar back here too, and a nano coating to resist moisture, supposedly, too. And it's still fairly thin, and that added thickness, well, it actually makes it a little bit more ergonomic and comfortable to hold. Good looking phone, really sturdy, feels great in hand. Decent reception, not as good as the Qualcomm Snapdragon phones, again, if you're in a poor LTE coverage area, but for those of you who have decent LTE coverage, or actually no LTE at all right now, that matters less. Voice quality on this is excellent as well, and performance is good. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Don't forget to watch our original Droid RAZR review as well, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel too.